From Progress, please welcome Chef Daniel Ernce.
Well, good afternoon. Thank you all so much for being here. I'm excited to be here, and I hope you guys are just as much as I am. It's been a great day so far, so let's continue. My name is Daniel. I am the head chef and owner of Progress here in Springfield. And just a little bit about myself before we get started. My first job out of college was at the Marlin Network for a company called Food IQ. Food IQ is a food innovations firm, which means that we were the idea people behind a lot of some of the major brands around the country. So working with Food IQ, I had the opportunity to work with some very smart, very intelligent, very talented people and travel the country, travel the world, cooking, eating, tasting, learning, experiencing. So that's really sort of how I got my start into food. And in the spring of 2016, we started Progress, which is a pop-up dining series. In the beginning of 2017, I moved from Springfield to Copenhagen, Denmark, to take a job at a restaurant called 108. 108 is the sister restaurant to the acclaimed Noma, which was the #1 restaurant in the world for 4 years. So that's who I am. Who is Progress and what do we do? Progress is composed of myself, my business partner and sommelier, Jersey Schmitz, my business partner and manager, Cassidy Rollins, as well as our sous chef, Travis Jenkins, and our service captain, Tabitha Hopke. Like I said, we're a pop-up dining series, which means that we're a restaurant that doesn't have a home. We're not a brick and mortar, and that means that once a month we pop up in a new location with a new menu. We focus on prefix dining, usually between 5 and 7 courses, although we've done up to 9, 11, even 13 courses in the past. So we'll always be in a new venue doing something new with new food. Those venues could be anywhere from right here in the Springfield Art Museum to a field outside of a farm. So here are some examples of our food real quick. This is octopus bacon with gochujang vinaigrette and acorn squash. Here we have what we call DIY seafood soup. So for this course, the cast iron was brought out on this bed of hay with all the ingredients around it. The cast iron was about 550 degrees, and the diners were instructed to add the ingredients into the cast iron and using the residual heat cook their course. After 2 minutes, we came back by with a pork dashi and finished the soup. This is one of the dishes that we served at our pop-up here at the Springfield Art Museum. It is a donut with a foie gras mousse and berry powder. We served it alongside a foie gras washed cognac. So, Springfield, what's been happening here? What's been going on? Well, since the 60s, we have been the birthplace of cashew chicken. But if we look before that, we see that back to the 40s, we are the home of throwed rolls with Lambert's. And so we see that we have American Chinese food, and we have food portions as big as your head with food being thrown across the room at you. Not necessarily the gastronomic Oedipus of the US. However, if we fast forward a little bit, we look at now, we have the highest number of restaurants per capita of any city in the US. And what does that mean? Well, it means that we like to eat out. We dine out as our form of entertainment. So whether it's an anniversary, a birthday, or it's just a weekend, or it's a weekday that you feel like you need to treat yourself, what do we do in Springfield? We go out to eat, and we have plenty of options. So we're a city full of food, we're a city full of restaurants, we're a city full of food lovers and foodies. Now, if we look a little more recently in the past 5 or 10 years, we see these developments, some really exciting things happening to sort of shake up our food scene. We have Metropolitan Farmer with James Beard-nominated chef Wes Johnson really sort of introducing the community to farm to table. And it made people not only think about, oh, where are my ingredients coming from, but it also exposed people to the amazing farms and produce and products that we have in our local area. We have Harvest with James Beard award-winning chef Craig Von Forster making really wonderful, delicious, simple, unpretentious food in a really beautiful setting. We have La Galette Berrichon, where Roland Parny out in Fordland is a world-class French chef who's traveled everywhere from Paris to South Africa, cooking for a number of different high-profile people. He retired here in the Ozarks and opened a small French patisserie that makes beautiful pastries and on the weekends offers prix-fixe dining. We have mothers. Of course we love our mothers. They make great beer, and we know that. But they weren't necessarily recognized on a national stage until recently, when last year they won a silver medal at the Chicago Wood and Barrel Aged Beer Festival. We have Hertz Donuts, which was an early adapter of the sort of over-the-top, trendy donut that was taking hold of the country. They grabbed onto that, and it's really become a Springfield staple with several different locations that they now have. Of course, we have the Hotel Vandevort, which is a beautiful space, a wonderful venue. They have a great restaurant, and it's something that maybe 10 years ago someone would have told you about, that we're going to put in this hotel, and people would have looked at you a little crazy, but it's become this huge, they've had an overwhelming response, and last year they were they were awarded the best boutique hotel in the US. Lastly, here we have City Butcher, which last year was given the award for the best Texas-style barbecue outside of Texas on a national scale. So this is to go to show that we have all of these different people, we have these local talents that have been popping up over the last 5 or 10 years and really getting national attention and bringing national attention to the city of Springfield, which is fantastic. It's great for us. We're on the right track. It's exciting. But we have to stop and wonder, are we going far enough? Are we pushing far enough? Can we go farther? Or are we selling ourselves short? Are we stopping a little short of where we could go because maybe we're intimidated by the number of chains that are in the area? And we think, well, there's so many restaurants already and there's so many chain restaurants. I mean, there's sort of this maybe middle level of mediocrity, and if we build it, will they come? Well, the answer is yes, because we've seen that in the new trendy things that have opened in the past few years. We've seen things like ramen shops. We've seen things on menus like octopus and caviar. And these aren't just ingredients that we're using at Progress. They're things that we're seeing in menus all over the area. And we see that when these things do go on menus, people respond well to them, and people get excited about them, and people want more. They're hungry for more. They're hungry for better trends, more exciting food. So we have a demand here. We have a great number of people here in the area that are well-traveled. They've eaten at some of the best restaurants in the world: the French Laundry, Single Thread, Noma, Next. And the list goes on. And these people have been to these places. They're well-traveled. They know what good food and good wine is like. And they desire that. They enjoy that. And so, they want that. And sometimes they fall into this trap, myself included, of thinking that in order to have great wine or great food or great experiences, we have to go to a bigger city. We have to go to Kansas City, St. Louis, Chicago. But it's not necessarily the case. We can find really fantastic food and wine right here in Springfield. So we have this demand of people that are well-traveled, that really know good food and et cetera. But we also have this other set of people that are just the tenacious foodies, the people that maybe don't have the opportunity to travel the world and eat all these great places, but they do love food, and they read the food magazines, and they watch trends, and they cook at home, and they push themselves, and they want to see new and exciting things coming to Springfield. And so when new things arrive, they're ready for them, and they're eager to go try, and they're eager to go dine. So we have this demand, but do we have the means and the tools and the things around us that we can support that demand? Can we take our food with the tools we have to that next level? Well, the answer is yes. We have phenomenal ingredients, really hardworking, talented, and incredible people around us, and we're starting to receive national visibility. So let me take you through a few of those things. Here we have caviar from Osage Beach. This caviar comes from the spoonbill fish, and it is the cousin to the sturgeon. So it's the same sort of breed as the white sturgeon caviar, but it comes at a fraction of the cost. Is it good? It is very good. Back in 2014, there was a big FBI sting up in Osage Beach to shut down caviar poaching, trafficking, and counterfeiting, because this product is so good that people were taking it and selling it as Russian Osetra caviar all over the world. So yes, it is delicious. Here we have Wagyu beef from JB Farms. We served it with black truffle and a sunchoke puree. Wagyu beef is some of the best breed of beef that you can have. JB Farms is one of the best Wagyu farms in the country. Here's an article published by the nationally circulated tasting table about where to buy the best Wagyu beef in the country. And JB Farms in Nixa, Missouri was listed as one of 2 farms in the article. We also have access to Mongolista pork. So Mongolista pork is also known as the Kobe of pork. It's known for its rich marbling and incredible flavor and rich color. We have a great relationship with a Mongolista farmer just north of Missouri in Iowa. Here we serve it with a fermented mushroom and potato puree and charred cabbage. Staying with pork, Newman Farms in Myrtle, Missouri offers some of the best Berkshire pork in the country. La Quercia, the high-end charcuterie maker that you'll find in the grocery store for a pretty penny, buys most of their pork from Newman Farms right here in Missouri to make their charcuterie. Here we serve Newman Farms pork belly with a strawberry umibushi, as well as a clam and mussel broth. We have Terrell Creek Farm, which makes wonderful goat cheese in all different varieties and flavors. We love their product. We love to use it. The farm is great. You can go out there and volunteer on your days off. You can go out there and feed the baby goats during kidding season. I highly recommend it. It's very therapeutic. And with this dish, we have almond ricotta topped with butternut squash vinegar, almond, and Terrell Creek goat cheese. So this, once again, is Mongolista pork, but I want to look at what it's sitting on, the bread. Neighbor's Mill made this bread for us for a collaboration dinner we did with Mother's last year. So they took the leftover wort, the byproduct of Mother's Little Helper, and they made a beer bread from it that was absolutely incredible, some of the best bread I've ever had. It had these rich, funky, sort of blue cheese notes. It was super exciting for us. I'm always, trying to get a hold of Neighbor's Mill saying, can you make more, can you make more, can you make more? We have black walnuts here in Missouri. So Hammond's Black Walnut is one of the largest producers of black walnuts anywhere in the world. Here we serve black walnuts for dessert with a black walnut glass, black walnut shortbread, sweet potato caramel, and Angostura yogurt. So I mentioned we have incredible people. This is Melissa Millsap at Urban Roots Farm. She is an incredible farmer. Her whole family is amazing. We love them very much. But not just Melissa. It's the entire farming community around us, growing everything from beets to celtis to little gem lettuce to heirloom tomatoes to raising chickens for eggs and for chickens and for raising pork, raising lamb, raising beef. We have all of these amazing farms and farmers working so hard and getting just as excited about the food as I am as a chef and as our guests are just to eat it. So when I talk about having national visibility, this is where it starts to come into play. We have 2 major food agencies here in Springfield, Marlin and Noble, who we heard from Bob Noble this morning. So Marlin Network and Noble are food advertising agencies that have worked with some of the biggest names in the business. You name it, they're either working with them or they have. Names like McDonald's, Coca-Cola, Nestle, Smucker's, the list goes on. Working for the Marlin Network, I was able to really get my footing in food and learn so much and have all the opportunities that I was able to do. Noble as well has been a huge influence in this town, fostering community, creating super talented people, and empowering people to follow their dreams. So again, with national visibility, we look at Bon Appetit's annual 50 Best New Restaurants in America list. This year, we saw 3 restaurants from Missouri make that list. We saw Nixta and Visa in St. Louis, Nixta actually going on to make their top 10 Best New Restaurants in America. In Kansas City, we see the Antler Room, as well as Corvino Supper Club, which got a lot of national press this year. But it's not just in the food world. If we look at sort of pop culture as a whole, for a long time it sort of looked at America as just sort of the coasts, and Chicago. And that was with food, that was with entertainment as well. But we've started to see a shift in the past few years to people really wanting to know what's going on in the middle of America. We saw that with people, with the Southern Food Alliance and the revival of people just being obsessed with Southern food, fried chicken and grits and Nashville hot, all of those things. But also in pop culture, we see things like Gillian Flynn novels, Gone Girl, which takes place in the Ozarks, Winter's Bone, the show Ozark. The list goes on of different references of people that are in Hollywood and magazines and pop culture and food that are beginning to hone in on what's going on specifically in the Ozarks. And this really gives us a fantastic platform to stand upon. As sort of all eyes are on the Midwest, as sort of all eyes are on the Ozarks, and people are beginning to be curious about what's going on here, it allows us to rise to the occasion. It allows us to step up and say, this is what we've got. This is what we have to show. This is the talented community around us, and this is what we can do. So what does it all mean? Well, in short, it means better food. Slowly but surely, every time you dine and go out, it empowers the chefs, it empowers the restaurateurs, it empowers the people cooking your food to be able to do more, to push farther, to make something more interesting. It means fostering talent and keeping that talent here, rather than people believing that their dream exists elsewhere and moving to a different city. It means them staying here and seeing that their dream can be realized in Springfield. And it's a chance for us to move from a city full of restaurants and a city full of food lovers and foodies to a food town, a food destination. So rather than people from Springfield going to Kansas City or St. Louis or Northwest Arkansas or Chicago, it's people from those cities coming to Springfield to dine, to see what's going on here, to see what we're doing. So what can you do? What is your part in all this? Well, it's pretty simple. You keep eating. Every time, like I said, that you go out, it fosters this community. This city, this town, this community, the artisans, the people within it have given me absolutely everything. I wouldn't be where I am without such a enthusiastic dining community around me. Every time we do a pop-up, I say thank you. We wouldn't be able to do this without you, without the people coming to eat. So for your part, it's super simple and it's super delicious. Just keep eating. So I'll sort of wrap up here with a quote from Karen McQuarrie, who's one of the owners of the Van de Voort. We were talking with her last year, and she was talking about the sort of phenomenon that I've mentioned and I've heard other people mention today about young people growing up and getting out of college and feeling like they have to go somewhere else for their dream to be realized, that they have to go to a bigger city for there to be opportunity for them. And she said that, for us, we defied that. And for us, with the Van de Voort, we wanted to, instead of believe that our city, that a different city could be bettered by our investment in it, we wanted to invest in our city. We want to make Springfield the city we want to live in. And that has really become sort of inspiration for myself and my team with what we do is, slowly but surely, every time we cook, every time we have a guest come through the door, we want to make Springfield just a little bit better of a food city. Just a quick special thanks to our videographer and photographers who have taken all these photos that I showed you today and make us look so good. If you would like to know more about Progress, ask questions, create a dialogue, you can find us at progresspopups.com, which is our website. You can follow us on Facebook or Instagram at Progress Popups. And just thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for supporting your community. Thank you for doing everything that you do within Springfield, whatever it may be. And thank you. Keep eating.